Hey, it's Nate from Navigator Bookkeeping here in the Profit First video series. So in the last video, I explained how Profit First works, kind of the day-to-day implementation, and if you're a business owner looking into this, what that day-to-day and month-to-month might actually look like. I wanted now to jump into the actual account so you can kind of see what these boxes are actually talking about. Some of them have odd names, so what do those mean? And what does this actually look like? So the first box and the biggest box here is the income box right here. And that's where all of your revenue is flowing in every month. All of your deposits, everything that you receive from customers that is revenue goes in there. And this is pretty much just a holding account. No expenses are coming out of this. Really, it's just revenue flowing into it, and then that revenue is then being transferred out of it. So just a holding account, and everything's getting distributed out of it twice a month to bring it down to zero. But looking down at these smaller boxes here, today I want to talk about the OPEX account because that's probably the one that business owners care the most about in a lot of ways. I'm going to put this down because it's kind of awkward to hold on video for a while. OPEX stands for operating expenses. Operating expenses, of course, are all the expenses that your business uses and pays for every month. So these are things like utilities, supplies, payroll, rent, pretty much all the things that take away your hard-earned money would be operating expenses. Now, for some of you who spend a lot of money on payroll, just because that's the way your business model is, there's some other things we would maybe change with this. Instead of using just an OPEX account, we would maybe add in another account as well. But just for the sake of simplicity, we'll just call all of your expenses going into the OPEX account. So basically, this account is meant to kind of curtail all of the spending that happens, overspending that happens with all the monthly expenses, and keep it at a manageable amount. So there's a percentage on this. On the chart here, we have 30%. That's the stated beginning level from Profit First that the experts say we should start at. 30% of all of your revenue should go towards your operating expenses. And the nice part about this is that it makes you spend only a certain amount, because if you spend more than that, you're not going to have enough funded into the account. And then if you don't have enough funded into the account, that tells you maybe something's wrong with my business or how I'm spending if I'm spending more than what my percentage should be. So that's why we have percentages. That's why there's a limit on this, because operating expenses and OPEX are always the part in a business that kind of runs off on its own. We see things, we want to buy them, whether they're advertising, whether they're new things for the office, and we keep increasing our operating expenses until pretty much all of our revenue, or a lot of our revenue, is going towards operating expenses, and then we don't have enough to save for taxes, we don't have enough to pay ourselves, we don't have enough to expand, and then you're in trouble. So I talk about operating expenses first because it's probably the most important. If we can curtail that, I use curtail twice in one video, but if we can curtail that spending, we're really going to be able to use a lot more money for the other things that matter more. So that's the OPEX account. The next ones we're going to talk about are profit, tax, and owner's compensation. And all those will pretty much fall into place if we can keep the OPEX account in its rightful place, which is hopefully a relatively small percentage. I'll see you in those next videos.